Welcome to episode 3 of Talking with Tags. Today we have a great guest, a very interesting, super interesting character, Antwon Blunt.
Hi, I'm Antwon Blunt. You can follow me on Instagram at MatrixMan3.
Hails from the insurance capital of the world, Hartford, Connecticut. Antwon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
I know Antwon 7-8 years through the amazing world of flag football. Got to meet a lot of interesting people, as I'm sure we could. That's a whole nother podcast we can get into. But I met some great people along the way as well that I made connections in 2002 that I still have to this day through the flag football world. I'm sure the same with you. You met some good people. You met some bad people.
Yeah, 1,000%.
It is what it is, though, right? It's a very small community that now it's unreal where the game has grown to what it is, and the network of people in the community is pretty special and pretty interesting. So, for those of you who don't know who you are, let's give everybody a rundown. Where you were born, where you grew up, all the way up until college.
All right, yeah, so my name's Antwon Blunt. I guess you could call me a serial entrepreneur. I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, born and raised, Stowe Village. But Stowe Village Projects, give them a shout out. So basically I've started in Connecticut with all types of businesses. I used to have all types of electronic stores.
When did you first become an entrepreneur? Were you selling candy?
Oh my God!
Were you selling candy in third grade?
I was
renting Jolly Ranchers?
To be honest, my mother still tells a story is that I used to rent out my video games for Sega and buy and sell them all the time to people at the school. Candy
Before
too.
Blockbuster was a thing?
Yeah. But so I would have a certain game that other people didn't have, and I would let them, have.
So that's when you knew that you were.
Yeah, she knew too. She knew too. I just love to sell things. Love to sell things.
So Sega games, so that was Tecmo Bowl-ish, or that was a little after?
I think that was Madden. I remember a game called Landstalker, Zelda, because I think Sega and Nintendo were.
Yeah, they were a competition.
Yeah, they were the systems at the time.
Nintendo had Mario Brothers, Sega had Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah, but.
All right, so you start in high school, you're renting video games.
No, that was actually elementary school.
Elementary school. So what was your middle school hustle?
Middle school, probably the same things. I can't remember exactly, but probably around the same things at that time.
And then you go to high school. You still hustling and doing things?
Oh, high school, can't talk about what I used to do in high school and sell things, but we don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that? All right, we'll skip that part. Yeah. So you were doing things in high school, Hartford. How was life like growing up in Hartford? I'm from New Jersey. New York area. I'm sure it's very similar to the Northeast. But what was life like growing up?
So I have a great combination of my childhood where I actually grew up or was born and raised in like a hood, I guess you could call it. But I also went to school, I think around the 6th or 7th grade in a suburb. So I think one thing that I think makes me a great person or a balanced person is I have all of the
check all the boxes. Street smart, school smart.
It was like a perfect combination. With that, I might also be a genius myself, right? But I think it gave me a perfect balance of, okay, this is this world and this is this world, and how do you combine those two worlds to be, to make yourself great in it. So I basically grew up in a rough area, but also went to schools in a good area, I guess.
So now that you grew up, high school, did you go to college or did you just go right to work?
Yeah, so I went to college for a while because I actually played sports at college. I actually played basketball.
Okay.
And so I went to.
What position did you play?
Of course, a shooting guard. What else would I do?
What was your best game in high school?
In high school, I would say probably 15 points or something like that. But in college, my height was 35. But it's also a small-time college. I don't want to come across
You weren't playing at UConn?
I don't want to come across like I'm some big
You were starting point guard at the School of the
Blind?
Blind?
But for whatever level, I played at, I think I was pretty good. Plus, I also skipped a grade. So, not a lot of people could say they went to college at 16 or 17.
So you graduated high school. What grade did you skip?
Second grade. Second grade. So I skipped the second grade.
So did you play basketball all 4 years?
In college?
Yeah.
I actually stopped doing college because I don't know if y'all want me to tell that entire story.
Go ahead.
But so at the time I was in college, I actually had started real estate.
Okay.
And I was doing other things we could talk about another time, but I was okay financially. But my it's funny because the guy just died, but my uncle was murdered. So I know one of the things he had told me before he died was that he wanted me to finish school. I didn't want to finish school, but I know that's what he had said. So, and I did get an associate's?
Yeah.
I did get an associate's degree. I did get the associate's degree, and then I went to Central, which was the bigger university.
Yep, Central Connecticut.
And people might say this is crazy the day I quit school, but this is an exact true story. I went to school, and there was a black teacher. His name was Mr. Gillard. I remember him very well.
Everybody has that one teacher that sits in their brain that they'll always remember.
Yeah,
Whether it's
and
second grade, third grade, middle school, high school. Everybody could name one or two teachers that they had that something happened where they made some type of impact.
Yeah. So he, and I could be honest, when I went to college, you would have thought I was a nerd. I literally would walk in, walk out, and not talk to anybody. It just wasn't of interest to me because I was making money anyway. So it was just like, I'm coming here to get the paper and I'm out. So I didn't, do anything flashy or crazy or, I wasn't outlandish. But for whatever reason, this teacher, he was just attacking me every day or a lot.
Like they do to Tyreek on Power?
The what?
Like they do to Tyreek on Power?
I'm not even familiar with Tyreek. No, what happened with Tyreek? I did watch Power a few times, but
I think it was when he was in school, and the one teacher had a thing for him because he knew how smart he was, and he kept going at him and going at him.
Yeah, and he kept going at me, and then so like I said, I wasn't flashy, I wasn't trying to be. So the last day I went to school, I remember I walked into class. He had an attitude with me. I never talked. He was like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." We go into the classroom next door, and he was like, "You see your hat? You see that chain? What do you think? You think you're going to be anything, dressed like this or whatever?" Now, the whole time, at this time, I'm like 21 or whatever. I have like 5 properties, true story. I have an S500 outside. And I'm just looking at this guy telling me how I'm not going to be successful, right? But I know at this point,
You're more successful than he is.
Right now, I'm more successful than you. I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And he told me to tuck my chain in and put my hat on for it. And I tucked my chain in and I put my hat on for it. I went to class, went outside to my S500, and never went back to school again. Never went back to school. And had 1 semester left.
You should find him now.
Mr. Gillard, maybe.
I'm sure you can find him. Internet, you can find whoever you want these days, right?
1 semester. So if I wanted a bachelor's degree right now, I would just need.
You can just go back. You can
1 semester.
You can fulfill your uncle's dream of you and do it online now, probably, and have it done on your own time in the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So that's college. So you walk away from college. What do you go into next? You're just flipping homes in Connecticut?
Well, actually, a lot of things, everyone likes to talk about their successes, but I definitely blew that first empire. And, I guess we could get personal with it, is that, I gambled it away, honestly. And a lot of people don't know that. Even like people don't know.
Sports gambling or casino gambling?
Shooting dice in the casino, on the street. It was just.
Either one. Any kind of vice.
It was
that was
bad.
Your vice.
It was bad.
Because you don't really drink, do you?
Nah.
So your vice is gambling.
Well, it was. So I kind of had, I had blew that empire at that time. And people don't even know when I came to the football league, it was like me
rebounding and getting back there.
Yeah. And
what was your worst day when you first started gambling, of losing money in one day? Where you're like, what the fuck did I just do?
I know the day. It was $25,000. It was in one night. And not even at a casino. It was in the back. It was like this guy who had this store, and we used to be in the back of his store. And I remember because I was young too, and every time I didn't go into the gambling house with that much money.
Yeah, of course.
It's just that I'm a kid, and then I'm like, oh, let me borrow, and everyone just keeps letting me borrow money, money. And I lost $25,000 that night.
So that was the day. Was that the day you realized, or was it a different day that you realized?
That what?
That you need to stop doing this?
Oh, no. So the day that I stopped was actually the day Tiger Lily was born, which is my daughter. Literally, I remember her mother saying that she was having a baby. And then I literally stopped gambling the exact day that
Cold
that
turkey.
happened. Like, it just, something just said, even with the properties and things, I didn't technically fail with letting them die. Or that I couldn't pay.
Yeah.
I literally felt that I was in a neighborhood, and in the neighborhoods that I feel like I cannot be around.
Yep.
And I let them die. So it's not like, I was failing. It was like, no, I literally walked away from the entire. This is crazy because I never told anybody all of this in public like that. But I just walked away from the entire thing. It was like, no, I can't be around here. And even today they're saying this guy P&B Rock got killed or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that. I'm not a tough guy either. I'm not like a street individual. But
I did see you box somebody on the side.
Yeah, you might have seen me box somebody before.
It was good. It was good. You like Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, I do know how to fight very well. But I don't want to come across that I'm like a tough guy, gangster, or super mobster or nothing. But I definitely just walked away from the whole thing, and then I just started a new life.
All right, so fast forward. Your new life is here.
Time out, Joe. Just try not to leave
Okay.
as much
You
as
hear me now?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. It's weird. It's like every time you lean forward, it cuts out the mic.
Good.
Give me a sound
I
check.
like long walks on the beach. Okay. So fast forward, we're here, 2022, TURO. The very fascinating thing, you're very successful with TURO. Tell me what TURO is for those of you who don't know, and then give me a quick rundown of how you make money using TURO.
So TURO is an online app, sort of like Airbnb. TURO, you can just buy a car, put it on the app, and then you can rent it to your peers or rent it to everyone in the world. It's a very simple process. It's a very simple process where you. I said again. Hold on a second. No, I'm just rethinking my thoughts for a second. TURO. Yeah, so TURO's an online app where you put your personal car, or you can buy cars, put it on the app, and you can rent it to people, just sort of like Airbnb.
Okay.
Tell you about TURO. Hold on one second. Get my thoughts.
Let me just ask questions about it.
No, I got it. It's just that sometimes your brain just gets in a fart. So let me just ask me the same question again. Redo it.
So for those who don't know, what is TURO? How does it work?
Okay, so TURO is an online app where you can put your personal car on and rent it to everyone in the world. How I got started in it is I actually just saw the ad. I don't know where I saw the ad, but I just saw the ad, and I said, oh, they said I can rent my car out. I'll just put the car that I'm driving every day and put it on there and see what happens. The very first day I put the car on, I never saw that car again for 45 days. So I only had one car at the time, so between myself and my girlfriend, I was like getting rides or Ubering because my car was gone. I didn't realize that the car would be gone for 45 days. So that turned into me getting another car for myself, but then I put that one on. Then I got another car and another car and another car. Then it actually turned into this full-fledged business that I didn't try to start because as I teach people now, I kind of coach people, and is that it's the easiest barrier to entry I've ever seen, with at least numbers that make sense to make money for anyone in the world. So you could be, not the greatest business person, but everyone has a car. Yeah. So even I say to people, if you have a second car, if you get a second car, put it on TURO to pay for the first car. Yeah. Because of the ease of the barrier of entry to start a business. It's too easy.
And now you're putting high-end cars on there, Honda Accords, Porsches, Corvettes, stuff like that.
Yep. So I have anything from a commuter car to mid-level car to luxury cars. So I have.
I remember one time you told me you had a Corvette.
Yep.
And some guy paid like astronomical amount of money to use the Corvette, right?
Yeah. So one of the beginning, one of the craziest rentals, because I couldn't understand the numbers, was a guy who was spending about like $5,500, $6,000 per month to rent a Corvette, and he would rent it at months at a time. So I think you might have seen the receipt that I might have posted one day, because it absolutely made no sense. I'm like, you could either put this money down on another car or whatever it is, but the people, I don't want to call them not smart with money, maybe it is for them, but people on their rent cars for the most ridiculous amounts of money, and I don't ask questions. He used to even leave $100 tips in the car. Because it's crazy. He used to even leave $100 tips in the car. He used to even get the car oil changes, and I don't know, but yeah, that's one of my favorite rentals.
$6,000 a month for
per month for a Corvette.
And how many miles is he putting on it? Is he beating your car? Are they beating your cars up?
That guy was putting miles on it. I can't front. He was putting miles on it, because when he would bring the car back, I would see receipts in like Colorado and I don't know, other places. He said he was in the cannabis business. I'm not, and I think it was like the legal one, but I kind of had a feeling maybe he was scared of planes too. I don't know, but he definitely was spending that amount of money per month, and I would see receipts from just all over the country. So he did put I know one month he maybe put like 9,000 miles on the car before. So
yeah. And you don't care what they do.
Yeah, no, I could care less.
You're not liable for anything that happens.
No. So
I take your car and I go do a smash and grab at the jewelry store in the diamond district. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. Actually, it's funny. I don't want to scare.
I'm not good. You're good.
Yeah, I don't want to scare people off, but I also a guy who I called Bobby Schmurder. There was a young boy, and he was also spending $300 or $3,500 a month for a Mercedes CLA, and which doesn't make sense. No. So I'm just like, okay, he might be into something. Plus, he was like 22, and I'm like, who has $3,500 a month to rent a Mercedes. But I did, when they found the car and it was a whole thing, it did look like, my name was like in the investigation, not with me, but it was like, hey, this guy rented the car from Antwon Blunt. I have found some of the paperwork.
Well, you have all that paperwork.
Yeah, like there's no like liability or
Now,
consequences for
do they
me.
have to get their own insurance?
The TURO guests,
Yeah.
they can buy their own insurance, but as far as on our end, once we give that car away, once that car leaves my hands, I have no connections to it. I'm not responsible for it, but they can buy their own insurance as well.
So at your highest point, what was the most cars you had on TURO?
33 cars is the most I've ever had at one time on the platform. So,
And you owned all 33 of those?
yeah, so I think that it's 33 at once, but I've had other cars that go in and out because cars get crashed, cars get totaled. You have to have an exit strategy to get out of cars. You have to sell some cars. But I think that, so I don't know how many cars I've had, but the most I've seen that I've had running with 33 cars at one time.
Now, was that top of the line TURO providers, or there are people with hundreds of cars in this app?
So recently, even with my, I expanded to Miami, is that I'm trying to expand again, and I looked for motivation of who had the most cars. So I went on like the TURO groups, and I kept asking, who has the most cars? Because I clearly see that I'm one of the top people, but I know there's there's always somebody bigger and badder. And another thing that I thought that I had like a niche was I saw people with as many cars as me, but they would never be in two cities. So I'm like, oh, it's hard to put it in two cities, but I've done it. But then I found this guy in LA, and he has 600 cars, and he's in 5 cities. Yeah. So I just found that out like in the last like 2 weeks.
He's crushing it.
Yeah. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, so I'm nobody.
Yeah.
And that's the target to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's beyond what. Yeah. I thought my 2 cities with some here, some there. I'm like, oh, that's big and bad. I was like, no, that guy right there has 600 cars in 5 cities. So he has an operation going. Yeah. He has an operation going.
He has to have a staff to make that happen.
Oh yeah, I've studied him. I've studied a lot of them now. I'm like, I think he even has somewhere where he fixes the cars. Like he has the body shop. So that's what I'm starting to gear towards.
They bang these cars up. Is there? Do they hold a security deposit like an Airbnb, or if something happens to your car, do you have a credit card on file?
I think some renters they do. It's almost like there's 2 different transactions. There's a transaction with TURO and the guest, and then I have a deal with TURO. Okay. So even sometimes, like I might be charging $200 per day for a car, and TURO is literally charging that person $600 per day. And I don't know that.
You don't know what they're.
Yeah, and then I think it depends on the driver's record or things that they have.
You know your share. You don't know.
Yeah, and different drivers they give different prices to. It's like an algorithm. Yeah. It's like an algorithm.
All right, so TURO successful. You bring it to Miami. Now you move from the Northeast to Miami, loving life. Mm-hmm. You told me I was the inspiration of why you moved there.
1,000%. You were part of the Matrix, which we might talk about.
We're going to definitely get into that.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I'm here is because of you. Well, one, I used to see you always just Miami back, and I'm like, I'd like to live like that. So it's like, I'm seeing someone do it, so it's possible. Because I mean,
and where we live in the same area. Maybe I'm 2 hours from you, but you could be here any given time in 4 hours.
Yep.
No matter what, something happens, you can get home if you need to get home to your family.
And that's what I ended up finding out when I
There's a lot of flights to the Northeast from Florida.
Yeah.
So it definitely it changes your way of life, right? Mm-hmm. How much better is your life now that you can walk on the beach every morning, do your videos?
It's ridiculous.
You really couldn't do that in Hartford, right?
I just got into media and talking to our camera guys today. When I'm in Connecticut, it's energy, because we will talk about energy.
Yeah, we will.
It's energy is that I didn't want to talk in Connecticut. I would force myself to. Here it's like, I want to talk. I don't want to talk too much, probably. You know what I'm saying? Where I want to go. I want to create media. I want to be creative.
You do have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. But I feel like I did it very sparingly. Very sparingly, where I have probably so much footage in my phone, even from last year in Miami, that it's like too much. Like it's like I have a whole bunch of things that I talk about and discuss. But no, Miami or moving to Miami is like the best thing.
Daughter loves it.
She's super in love with it.
She can play tennis every day outside. Where Connecticut, she's stuck for 7 months.
Yep.
And the other 5 months, she's stuck in the house.
It's just depressing a little bit. Sorry, Connecticut. I do love you guys, but
yeah, you go back there when you have to, right? You're a different person. You wake up here, you're happy, palm trees.
5:30. I walk 2 and 3 hours every morning, starting at 4 or 5:30.
They stole your shoes, though, right?
Yeah, one day.
What happened there?
So one day I went. Oh, that's a good story, right? So one day I went walking in Miami on the beach, as I do every morning. And then I leave my shoes at this one spot, and I go walking down. I mean, hours. I walk hours and hours. And I came back one day, and my shoes was gone, right? So I'm looking around, looking up and down, and then I'm like, where are my shoes? And then I hear this voice. It goes, excuse me, are you lost? I look at the guy. I'm like, no, I'm not lost. I'm just looking for my shoes. As he says this to me, I look down. The guy has on my shoes. So now I'm like, wait, maybe, this is the icebreaker for him to oh, I really have the shoes or whatever. But then I realized he never reaches for the shoes. And he's not. This isn't the icebreaker. So then he goes, are you sure these are your shoes? So now, mind you, I'm walking barefoot.
Yeah.
I don't have on any shoes. Yes, sir. These are my shoes. Oh, shouldn't even looked at that. These are my shoes, and you have them on. So anyways, I started to figure out the guy didn't really, he may have or may not been there. Maybe he was homeless or not.
Yeah.
So, I had to make a decision at that point where it's like, take your shoes back and be a tough guy, or
just let the guy take
let him have his shoes. And the shoes were like very old. They were like the
They weren't 95 Air Max?
Yeah, they were very old. So it's like, I told the guy, I said, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, I'm going to let you have the shoes, but you're not taking them. And, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Better to go home than to get your shoes back with a stabbing or
you don't know
gunshot.
these guys. It's Florida. Everybody carries a gun. You don't know these people are crazy. The bath salts, K2. The last thing you want to deal with some crazy person.
So it definitely was a smart decision.
So that's the only bad experience you had here. That's not terrible.
Yeah, and I don't think it was bad. I thought it was still a great day.
Absolutely.
That was weird. I walked home barefoot though.
Miami's not. It's better than walking barefoot in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
So, all right. Then we're gonna go into the Matrix next.
Okay.
So we'll cut it, and then he has what's going on. He has an interesting take on life.
What?
On life and the Matrix and how it works.
It's actually the truth.
So I'm gonna. What's up?
You're gonna start coming now?
Yeah.
How long are you gonna be?
5 minutes.
5?
What? How long do you think this will be? 5 more minutes? 5, 10
whatever
minutes.
you
Yeah.
want.
Okay, cool. I'll let them know just because people wanted to have lunch. So.
Yeah. No problem.
Hold on. All right. Let me just play with this mic just a little bit.
Then we'll do the other guy and the other one.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I'll do that one camera, which is here.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So they call him Matrix Man for a reason.
Matrix man. I am
I'm
the
gonna
Matrix
sit
man.
back and I'm gonna let you tell the people at home about the vibes, the energy, and how the Matrix works. The doors, the stage is yours.
So should I just say what it's
Yeah,
about,
talk
or
about
say
the-
how I discovered it?
How you discovered it and what it's about in a nutshell.
All right, so essentially what Tag is talking about is that I believe we live in a matrix, right? And the way I had discovered, do I feel like telling this part? It's kind of crazy. But anyway, but yeah, so I believe we live in a matrix. So what I mean by that is that, one, I am the creator of my reality. So everything that I do, I manifest. I literally think of things in my head, and then now that I've mastered the powers, it happens every single time. And when you discover these powers, then it gets to a point where you don't even have to think of them. They kind of just find you. Or whenever you think of something, whatever you're trying to manifest, it happens. So, I call that Matrix A, which is the actual universe where, there's these codes and there's this universe we live in that none of us know why we're here. And we have to, find out all the things of, just find out why we're here and play with the different codes, I call them, or as you see on my social media, as like the codes. And then there's Matrix B, which I call it's the other matrix where, things like money and, borders and rules and laws and governments, these things are all created. They only make sense, or they only exist because of a belief system. So, if I pull out $100 bill right now, it's $100 to you and me. It's $0 to a dolphin. I say to people all the time, humans are the only people who pay to live here. The birds and
it's free for them.
Yeah, they all travel, they all have food, they all have water, but we pay to live here. So that's Matrix B, and then Matrix A is the actual universe, the actual universe. And how I discovered it one day is actually I was thinking one day, and I was kind of chubby at the time. Fluctuated weight. I was like, I wish that I could eat everything that I want and lose weight. I said that one day. Right? This is literally the first day. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, one day, this guy with like, not being whatever, but he had an amazing body. He's on my screen and he's like, I eat whatever I want all day long, or I'll eat whatever I want. And this is my body. And I was this big.
Yep.
And now I'm a Greek god. And I'm like, yeah, right. So then he starts showing his meals.
The intermittent fasting.
Yeah, he starts showing his meals. And I mean, the meals are out of control. Like, I still can't eat this way.
Yeah.
He would have like a pizza with hot dogs on top of them, with fruity pebbles on top of that. This is not exaggerated. It literally was crazy. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I was like, but I'll try it. So I tried it, and it was called intermittent fasting. It was where you eat all your food in the tightest window. So I did it the first week, and I ate Philly cheesesteaks, pizzas, all of these different things, and as much as I could in a shorter window.
What was your window?
The first one was it was 8 hours. It was 4 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Okay.
My first one ever. It was 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. And that first week, I ate all those terrible foods, and I lost 7 pounds. I was like, wait, I ate the same things the prior week, or even better, and that wasn't happening. So anyways, I do all that. I start fasting more. I start digging into more about what fasting does and what it does to you.
You did like a 24-hour fast too, right?
I've done a 10-day dry fast.
Nothing, not even water.
No water, no food, 10 days. And on day 10, on one of my last ones, I did 12 miles that day. So another thing about, people lying or the world is full of lies is that, they tell you on day 3 that you should die without water. But I've gone 10 days without water or food.
Nothing.
I didn't touch water.
Do you put water in your mouth and spit it out? Nothing.
No, not in a dry fast. That one's a
teeth?
dry fast. No, not in the original dry fast.
Not in the dry fast.
Did not touch water. And I remember, starting that on day 3, I remember thinking that I was going to die. I'm like, wait, they say on day 3 you should die, but I don't feel like I'm going to die. But I was nervous, that night, thinking I'm going to die. But to get back to the Matrix, once I completed all of these fasts, it started to open up the universe. And it started to make me think clearer of what was actually happening. And one of the things that I say when you fast, or when you start fasting or doing the intermittent fast, what happened to me in the original states is that I started to feel almost high. The first time I was doing it, was like, wait, am I high?
Like you're tripping on acid or something.
You get what I'm saying? It's like I felt so good and I hadn't eaten in, X amount of time. But what I think that, I guess the science part of that is that when we were cavemen, you had to go find food.
Yep.
Whatever the codes the universe gave us is that you need to get smarter, faster, and more logical to go find the food, grow it, or kill it. So while I'm thinking that I'm manifesting things or doing things like that, it's probably my brain is, when I fast, it's making my brain go, oh, well, this is how you do TURO. This is how you do real estate. This is how you get the money. So that's just a theory I have, but.
Makes sense. I actually just started doing the intermittent fasting. I lost 20 pounds. In 3 months, I downloaded an app. I try to do 12 to 6, 12 to 7. If I know I'm going to go out tonight, I probably won't eat my first meal till 3 o'clock today.
Yep.
And then it works.
Yep.
And you're not tired. You're fine. It's amazing.
Enjoy the food that you want.
Yeah. I don't eat terrible, but I eat whatever I want. I'm not going to eat terrible greasy food all day at McDonald's and Wendy's and Chick-fil-A, but I'm going to, if I slip up, it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
So that's interesting how intermittent fasting opens you up to this whole matrix.
Yep. And then and then that's when the magic started happening. The more I fasted, there's other ways I say you could connect to the universe, but the deeper you fast and the more you fast, it's you ever seen Avatar?
Yep.
It's like when they were connecting the they would get on a horse and connect to it, and the horse would be one. That's what fasting does. So I say that's the fastest way to connect to the universe. To let the magic happen is what I call it. Because if anybody follows me or kind of see me from 2017, this date, and then
a lot.
It's that's a boom.
Yeah.
That's a.
Now you're living on an island in Bal Harbour.
Yeah. So I'm
living your best life, and it all started from eating cheeseburgers and Fruity Pebbles.
Yep.
From 12 to 5.
And, I've experimented. I actually coach people now, not just with fasting, but life coaching and consulting them. But it's I've also done the experiments of everything I've done on people. So it's it has 100% success rate if you, follow the codes, as I call it, the codes.
And one more. What was one more thing that you manifested that happened, besides moving to Miami?
Oh my gosh.
One with a good story. One with the best
gosh,
story.
I'm just trying to think because it's like I might have manifested this and yeah, I don't even know it, but I'm just trying to think of something extraordinary. Some of them I'll get in trouble for if I tell, so I'm gonna have to leave that out. And I have one, and I'm like, oh, I can't tell that story. Let me see. Oh, two that I can't tell that story because it's a magical life. I mean, magical. Your wildest, not trying to be crazy, but your wildest wants and desires.
All right, so we will skip that. One other question. Aaron Rodgers recently did ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. You know what ayahuasca is?
No, what's that?
Ayahuasca is like it's a retreat you go on, and it's a drug that you take, and it clears a person's mind, and it opens them up to the universe. Mike Tyson did it with the scorpion, blood of a scorpion, and it puts you on this crazy euphoric trip that opens up your past life and all that stuff. You've never
never
anything like that?
No, never done anything like that. But I am intrigued by that because
Aaron Rodgers just did it. He said it changed his life. He was in a bad place. It's not illegal in the NFL because it's an herb or a plant or whatever it is. He went to Brazil and did ayahuasca. And look into it because that's a whole other way that people open up to so-called matrix.
No, that's what like I've never done it, but like mushrooms and different things. Like you see how they talk, and it's like, oh well, the things that you're saying I've done. Of course, I did it like my way.
Yeah, your way.
But it's like, oh no, that's another way that I haven't done it.
Yeah,
but it's
right now, a lot of people are microdosing on mushrooms and taking mushrooms every day just to open up their brain and to see who they really are. So it's crazy things right now. Thank you for coming on. I mean, we could talk for hours about the Matrix, but I'll save that for when you have your show. Thank you for coming, and stay tuned for the next episode.
All right.